This week on the podcast, Weekend at Effy's, we're having magic moments of self-reflection. We're going down the list. You just made the list to talk about some things I've been thinking of while I've been perched up on the couch, playing video games, healing my knee to try to get back to 100%. We're going to go deep into the rabbit well of violence and murder and happiness and joy and DIY queer constructivity and building each other up, communication, and learning that all your skills are applicable elsewhere. It's Weekend at Effy's. Listen to us on, well, I guess if you're listening to it. So how'd you get here? Is there a do you have to, you're here. This dude's only a minor prophet anyway. Micah? So you said, what was I gave it away. Damn it. What was
What's the most biblical kind of countertop?
And you said for Micah,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I mean, it's plastic, right? Did they just make up a word for plastic that's like a bigger deal than plastic? Mm-hmm. Huh, weird. Micah was, he was a lesser saint of the Hebrew prophecy. And
you know who was a real lesser saint?
Who?
Josiah.
I don't.
You know why?
Why?
Because he was a wee little man.
Is there a song to this?
Josiah
was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. Is there a clap segment in there?
I think there is, yeah.
100%. VBS. This is Weekend at Effy's. This is a podcast. This is a professional wrestling podcast, okay? Right? How many professional wrestling matches have you watched this month, Peter?
0.
I've been in considerably less of them because of my ongoing, what are we calling it? Setback. My ongoing setback. But here's an update. And if you're getting early access here, this is great news for Big Gay Brunch fans this weekend. Here's an update. Doing all right. Getting there. A lot of liquid gone. A lot of mobility. A lot of patient rehab with exercises sent to me by a few great minds of the athletic world, both physical therapists and wrestlers who have had knee issues. And I am so ready to be back in a professional wrestling ring. I'm ready. So this is a wrestling podcast. I'm Effy. This is Petár.
Hello.
Petár, we're entering our experimental world phase. And one of those things we're going to try, because I'm looking at, we talked about it on the minisode, Instagram, like we just did a post up there and there's no way they're not throttling us. Like I could put a picture of me rubbing the dog and it's 38 likes in 4 minutes. And then I look at this and it's like 8 likes in 3 minutes. If you're not following us on social media platforms, I don't even care if you follow and mute. It just helps us in the algorithm tremendously. TikTok, Weekend at Effy's. Instagram, Weekend at Effy's. Twitter, which I'm forcing you to get back on Twitter. I know it's a bad place. I don't need you to look at Twitter. But I'm asking a lot of you.
You're asking for me to have self-control.
Yeah, but also, couldn't I why don't they make it easier for me to just transfer the videos direct? Do I just have to screen record and run the Twitter? That's giving you shivers?
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll take care of it.
All right.
Yeah. We got it.
I just think, listen, if we're going to get in the middle of algorithmic discourse, let's get the bots on it, run that thing up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're on all the podcast platforms if you're listening. And if you're on our Patreon at weekendateffys.com, you're actually the best. You're the best. That's a wonderful way to support all the hard work Petár does. The hard work I do, I then come here to confess the hard work. The hard work you do is organizing my little brain. And I got to say, we've got a lot to talk about this week. But I want to go to our Patreon friends and family first. If you're not on the Patreon, do it. There's so many great benefits. I want to make a benefits. Can we make a benefits clip of the Patreon?
Absolutely.
I need a list. This is where I would need my Ron Burgundy teleprompter. You saw they messed with Donnie's teleprompter. And they were like, whoever did this. And then they messed with his escalator. And they were like, whoever did this. And then it turns out it was members of his team that were incompetent because he hires people without. I don't know if you know this, but as a male podcaster in America, I've got a target on my back. We're bringing up earlier points. We're having a good time. We're going to questions from our Patreon listeners. The true Patreon patriots. This rebrand is not. You're not into it, are you? We're getting to the center of the conspiracy surrounding why they get to ask questions and the regular public doesn't. Why is it that these elites on the Patreon are allowed to ask anything of wrestling superstar Effy while I only get to hear their participatory questions? You got an answer for that, Peter?
No.
Let's get to It's the cabal.
Okay, there we go. All right. First question is from Rob. My dearest Petár, I keep seeing discounts on Effy cameos, but rarely ever think of anything good to request. So in your infinite wisdom, what should I ask Effy to do on my next cameo request? Have you done any monologues yet, like for movies or anything?
So I went through a period when we were living at the other building where we met in our original iteration, where I was reenacting multiple scenes a week, where basically like you would request a scene from a movie and I would find the clip and do my best. And some of them have online scripts. Like the benefit to a lot of these famous scenes, some of them have online scripts. Sometimes they don't, and I would have to just like do my best.
Right.
But usually those, like I have the gist of it a little bit. So I recommend giving me weird monologues. One of my favorite ones I ever did was the Hereditary, that face on your face line. I'm reducing the cursing. I know I said the D word at the beginning, and I might say the S word. I'm trying not to say the F word. I'm trying not to say the P word. I'm trying not to say the D word. I'm trying not to say the, like, do you know about the X word?
What's the X word?
Well, if I say it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's Zord. It's XORDD. I can't believe the noises I'm hearing from Lucifer right now. She knows it's a bad word. As soon as I said Zord, she started raffling up on me. Do not say that word. Very bad word. Here's what you say. Here's one thing you can say. Do Shrek movies on the cameos. I would love to do some of the monologues from Shrek. I also like, if you want to get hybrid with the cameos, I think this is important. If you were to ask for like, hey, I want to see your version of Big Bird doing like one of the Al Pacino scenes from Heat, I do my best. And I think like in today's narrative and day and age, the only thing you can do is give it enough effort to make it feel like, it was worth it's the real NFT. Where else are you going to have your own video? You don't even have to share the video. It could be a perfect monologue that would have gotten me a million auditions. And guess what? It's yours. I have no control over that now. You paid for it. No, ma'am. You're getting all the attention right now. Trying to be more direct with her, but she thinks I'm BSing. That's another way you can, instead of saying bull spotting, which is when you think it's a cow, but it's a bull, you're bull spotting. It's like a falsehood. BSing is how you would make that less. So yeah, get a cameo, cameo.com/EffiLives. I want to have a lot of ways that you can choose to support us here at whatever we're doing, because we made $1 on Instagram. That's why the Patreon is the lifeblood of this thing. Do we have any other questions this week?
What's a cucumber's favorite instrument?
Ooh, is it a piccolo?
Yes.
I had to think about it for a second. I was thinking of just saying the word pickle, like fiddle, like pickle, but it didn't make sense.
No.
Like it wouldn't have.
No.
So I had to go past my like Appalachian basement roots. You know about an Appalachian basement?
No, I don't.
Yes, you can cook moonshine down there in the Appalachian basement. Ain't nobody gonna know what you're doing out there in the woods. Deer's up high. You're watching for deer's up high. They're not looking low for the Appalachian basement, right? You're not in on this, are you?
No.
I think as two sober non-drinkers, we would be great at making moonshine.
Probably.
Like, think about that industry.
Yeah.
Underground moonshine. All right, what else is going on with our friends on Patreon?
Thank you to Ashley for that last one. Okay, this next one is from Julie. When/if your coworkers become aware of your other work, wrestling/podcast, etc., how would you prefer they engage with that info? I just interviewed a indie wrestler for a data management position, and if he gets the job, I don't want to be annoying, but obviously it's an interest of mine as a fan.
I guess let them tell you. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
did this come up in conversation already? This is a strange question for me because I'm like it all happens at once when it happens, doesn't it, Peter?
Yep.
I love it. We're back. I had to take a phone call. I shouldn't even say that. Like, you can kind of edit it to make it not noticeable, but I feel like they were sitting there like waiting, but it's not a live experience. We were being asked a question about Cameo. Get a Cameo. That's what I have to say.
Get a Cameo.
That's what I have to say.
So we were talking about the new coworker having similar interests, et cetera, et cetera. I think regardless of because I think just because we current Americans are so individualistic in their hobbies, like where there's a lot of identity wrapped up in that I do find that people tend to look at these things as power structures, like how deep are you into all of it?
Yeah.
So I sidestep all of that by letting them lead the conversation just to like
see where they want to go.
Yeah, because you don't want to like you want to like read the audience correctly.
Yeah. Historically, reading the audience correctly, especially in wrestling, and I kind of am putting myself back into the shoes of like, they're gonna find out. They're gonna know I wrestle, but how much I let them in on that is going to determine if it affects whether my job performance is affected or not. Affects like their opinion of my job performance. So that's usually why it's not anything I'm ashamed of, but I would not want you to take it. I understand it's a misunderstood art in a lot of forms. So if it's going to cost you money, just like you can downplay it. There's no respect squad in wrestling waiting to like take you away, but like they may still have those feelings depending on what level they're at and where they're kind of coming in from of, is this going to affect this job I just got? Especially if it's like a newer job and you're thinking like, oh no, they're going to wonder why I'm taking Friday off. You going to do your wrestling in your underwear? I just knew because I was such a little gay boy that like I needed to like downplay how gay it was getting on some of the shows. And I don't know how good of a job I did. I don't know.
It's when I was a cigarette smoker, I had this whole routine down where it was like the Bed Bath and Body Works hand sanitizer, so like the nice smelly hand sanitizer.
Did it have the microplastic beads?
Yeah,
I love it,
of course. And then you would do the Febreze over the top, and then you could do different jacket layer situations, you know. And I really thought I was getting away with it, and then I quit smoking. And it was revealed to me that I was not getting away with it at all. That, you know, it was a nice, you know, attempt.
You were still pretty obvious, and your efforts were met with no real result. Mm-hmm. But, you know, something about the confidence that it gives you to think you're doing it maybe like has some placebo in there.
Do you want to know the sick reason that I started doing it?
Why?
Because there's a scene in, I believe, the first episode of The Leftovers where Justin Theroux has a cigarette with gloved hands and then takes the gloves off and hand sanitizes and sprays himself with Febreze.
I recall still haven't watched
he didn't get away with it either.
He didn't get away with a lot in that one. I don't want to get into the show right now. Leftovers, I haven't watched it. That's the truth. Do we have any other questions?
We do.
Oh my gosh. The Patreon people are coming through today. weekendateffys.com. Get access.
Thank you to Julie for that last one. This next one's from Danny. Do you guys have a favorite cult classic TV show? Something that didn't last a long time, but it was a wonderful show. My example, Pushing Daisies. Good example. Shout out Brian Fuller. Hannibal.
Hannibal.
First,
I think I watched Hannibal too fast.
Yeah, you gotta like slow bake
sick.
that one. He's doing that Mads Mikkelsen under the bed monster movie.
What do you think is under this bed, monster? I don't know if that was
It
even
was
passable.
It was a
no, it's not a Guillermo.
Yes.
It's not. The show that immediately came to mind was The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Really weird Nickelodeon live action show.
I just didn't like it.
It was kind of like the fusion jazz of a child's show that you weren't even sure was real.
I never liked it when people called me Pete.
Oh.
And so I never wanted to engage with any media.
That was...
Yeah.
And they were both called
just
Pete.
because I didn't want the association to be, you know, that's double the danger there.
But if there's two Petes, isn't that Peter?
No,
because there's more Pete.
That's Pete squared.
That's just Pete's.
Yeah.
What kind of moss do they use in Scotland?
What kind of? I don't
Pete.
know.
Moss.
Is it a kind of moss?
Yeah, that's the kind that they can cut into slices. It's so
Oh.
thick. You can bury bodies in it, and the microbes will leave only bones.
Is that true?
Yeah.
This is from a
Or maybe
movie?
they preserve it and it leaves everything.
You should probably figure that one out.
It's kind of opposites, right? That's a fun show. I don't know. God, do you remember? Here's a show I remember because I remember being a child and thinking it was bad, and it was bad, and it was the Are or Are Not These Children, Jack and Bobby, supposed to be Robert and John F. Kennedy, and we're gonna hint at it, but we're never gonna really like make it clear. This show called Jack and Bobby.
How is
They
that
were
a
like,
show?
Are they the candidate? Is it?
What?
I don't know. It's different, but it's an American tale.
When
but
was
it
this?
Could be. This is like maybe 2004. I don't know.
Wow. Did you see the Emilio Estevez directed movie about the Robert F. Kennedy assassination?
No.
It's a good movie.
Is that why old Methylene Blue is the way he is?
Yeah, probably.
God, terrible stuff. And then JFK Jr. too. They got him. Seems like they left. I don't know if they left the best or worst Kennedys behind.
But I mean, isn't it worse to have brain worms?
Didn't Ted flip that car with a woman
Do you
in
think
it?
he wants to be alive, or you think it's kind of like a Frankenstein's monster thing where it's?
So we just watched the finale of Alien Earth, and there's a creature in that show that's an eyeball with worm arms, tentacles, and it looks real good in RFK. It hasn't figured out the vocal cords quite yet, but it looks real good. And it's funny that a species that didn't have a body has inhabited his brain like a parasite and decided to gym tan as much as a 65-year-old can. Just looking leathery. Hey, Hulk Hogan may be dead, but that distressed leather skin lives on in the body of RFK. You know what they say about vaccines? No way. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. We have things to talk about. That's our last question for the Patreon.
No.
What?
I throw soy sauce packets at my husband when he's sad. Kiko man when he's down.
Oh my gosh. That's what you're holding me out on?
Yeah.
You silly fools.
Thank you, Heather.
You silly fools. I made a list.
Checking it twice.
Checking it twice. We have to talk about. Here's the first thing we have to talk about. These are things I was thinking about while I was not wrestling because I'm injured. First thing we got to talk about is animal murder.
Okay.
I was outside.
Are we talking about ritual animal sacrifice or like just natural
Well,
nature?
we'll get into that on the astrology episode of the podcast coming to the Patreon at weekendateffys.com. But I'm talking about I was outside with Cranberry. Now she's in her little chair, and sometimes when you're walking in a little chair, you have to kind of move stuff out of the way to make sure she doesn't run into stuff. And there was a wasp, and it was clearly dying. Something was wrong with this wasp. And then I remembered, are you familiar with Jainism?
Yeah.
Well, they don't kill any creatures, even bugs.
Yeah.
So I just slid that wasp over to the side. And I continued on our walk for Cranberry, right? But that's the difference with humans, right? Because we had to deal with another murder here at our house. Just for a moment, just a moment of silence broken by an intermediate squawk for Reese Witherspoon. Bark! She gave her life for the rest of the flock. Let me just tell you what happened, Peter. All right, because you weren't here. You were out slaving away at the factory or whatever you do. Something about when my mom goes, when Peter goes working at the Dick store, I laugh every time. So shout out my mom. I like to tell people you've been working in a factory. That's not fair to you. So you were doing that, and this was the first visit of our good friend who was fixing the washing machine. And he came and he figured it out, and he said, listen, got to go. Hey, what's up with those chickens, right? And I said, well, we have 5, and then they killed one of them because she was sick, and now we have 4. They seem to be doing pretty well. And that was at 3:30 p.m. when he was leaving, okay? Left out the back. And then I went outside about 5:15 to kind of shoo them in, and there was just feathers everywhere. And the rest of them were hidden in different places. Clearly, this occurred pretty recently because they were all just like under the trees where they could be, and seeing the string of feathers across of how far she had to go to be taken. Now, here's what we don't know. We don't know three things. Was it a raccoon? Was it a fox? Was it a hawk? Fourth thing? There's a fourth thing. I'm learning about this creature called, have you ever heard of it? It's like a mink or a stole, but it's called something else.
No.
Hey, Siri, what's that creature that's like a mink or a stole? A mink. A stoat or a weasel?
Okay.
Either way, it went for her head and neck, and she was a goner. There was no bringing her back. The girls were terrified. They were letting out. Can I make the sound for you? I don't want to bring light to this, but I have to like a little bit let you hear.
Yeah.
And imagine it's 3 chickens doing this. So I'm out there with the shovel trying to get her ankle bracelet off because I remembered what you said last time, that you were sad you didn't grab Nicole's ankle bracelet. So I got her ankle bracelet, and it was green like her heart. And she protected those 3 other girls. She could have just let them go. But Reese Witherspoon was a fiery chicken. And other species, okay, I'm not saying they have to follow a certain religion, but it'd be nicer if they didn't kill my chicken family. And so I have to put 2 and 2 together. And here's the facts, y'all. Okay, you're not in tune with every detail and aspect of our life, and I understand. Bebop did a trading spouses situation thing and has been over at where Cranberry is usually her primary residence with AJ. He has been over there. She has been primarily residenced here for Pity Girl Fall.
Mm-hmm.
Pity Girl Fall, going well. Great for the eclipse. Him leaving, I wouldn't say, oh, that has something to do with it. Except for the fact that twice this week, I've seen a cockroach crawling up the wall or crawling up a piece of furniture. I haven't been able to get it and runs away. Little guys. Bebop, I think, was protecting this house more than we think. I think even his presence in the yard and presence in the area is a deterrent. And I'm going to keep letting him, I'll keep wiping shit off his feet. And I'll bring him out there every morning. And I'll let him go out there. Because he don't mess with them chickens no more. He'll sniff them a little bit. Lucy get a little wild. If you leave her too long, she'll just get a little like, oh, they're moving. We're moving. But it's never, she went out there and she walked over and she saw and she was slumping her shoulders out. I'd already moved the body. But you could tell she saw, she's in tune. Both of those girls are in tune. It was tough. It sucked. Bebop needs to come back and protect us because he doesn't need to protect that condo. They have codes. Okay. We have a little hole I have to fill because I can see where the wire got open and where something got in. And we don't know what it was. And it could have come from the air. Haven't seen the crows lately. We probably need to make another sacrifice to the crows. But he will be here this weekend again with you while I'm in England. How about that? Second thing I wrote down is people got to sell their storage units. And as someone who sells goods and wares, it seems like I should be against that because I should say, no, you just like keep buying stuff, but you have to get rid of your storage units. That's something that I was thinking about. Why did I just type blood? We'll get back to that. Okay. Now we have to talk about this, our political episode, Peter. Okay. Now you remember back in 2021 that there was like there is every year up until now, a gay pride festival in Tampa, Florida called Tampa Pride. And I was the celebrity grand marshal of the parade. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay, well, 2026, because sponsors back out, because there's no reason to support gay people anymore because of the climate changing, they're not even hosting anything. No parade, no festival, no nothing. And and I'm going to sound real elite saying this, okay? As a queer entertainer who also aims to promote and provide events for young queer talents and audience members, this is unacceptable. Okay? Here's what we have to remember. Pride is supposed to be fun and great, but all you kids out there who were saying no kink at Pride, no BDSM at Pride, no sex at Pride, let me be clear. The people in corsets and weird leather costumes is who I want fighting along my side. That's who I want if we're having to go to war on this. And so this starts small. I've always said this. You have to not be afraid to correct things. You have to not assume the temperature in the room. This is the problem of the difference between most men and women is women will think a little while and then say what they need to say, but men will wait for the temperature in the room before they say anything. And so we have to not be men about this, and we have to be angry that we don't have that space provided. Here's the thing. Tampa Pride may not be running their own events, but there's nothing that stops us from being prideful. There's nothing that stops us from finding safe gathering spaces, or, at least, make your pride volunteering, make your pride helping out, make your pride going out there. To those that are out there rechalking the sidewalks every time in front of the Orlando Pulse Memorial, keep doing it. And they're like, well, when are they doing chalk? Because they can charge them with a federal crime right there if they don't. Mm-hmm. You can't charge somebody for using chalk. You know what I mean? But like the police state is going to aim for it. This is, we could talk all day about how it's like little things like this that end up putting us back in the boxes that they want us to be in, which really the box they want you in. And this especially goes out to all those ugly uglies in the LGB alliance, you fake losers. I'm really trying not to cuss today. They want you in a box. They want you dead. You are not expected to reproduce. You are not expected to fall in line to their tithing operations and their Christian state and government. They would prefer you not be here. So we have to not only be here, we have to be annoying about it, loud about it. And if people are not with us, it's with us or against us. That's it. Sorry. I'm not trying to stoke the fires, but like it's crazy that in the year 2026, we're not going to have a Pride Festival in Tampa. Have you been to Tampa? I know all you boys at the mega churches on Sunday with your wives and your babies have that little download symbol next to Grindr on the App Store. It might not be on your phone right now, but like you and Daryl were rubbing and tugging. Don't act like pride is messing your life up, giving 10% of your money to somebody who would rather you never come. Okay? That's how I feel. Peter, what do you think? Am I going too far?
No.
All right, good. That's all I have to say about that right now. It recorded half of that. It recorded it was just recording my words on my phone. Incredible. Now we have to talk about personal highs and lows, okay? Here I am having to take time off this weekend, having to miss out on seeing all the fans in Los Angeles, seeing all the fans in Arizona, missing out on matches with Cartwheel, missing out on matches with Shotzi, and feeling, unsure about my knee. I mean, gosh darn it, I'm 35 years old, Peter. We're going to have to get her, aren't we? Mm-hmm. You need to go potty? I'm 35 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Like, my body is not going to be doing the best healing it's done. Like, it's not 22-year-old healing, but I also know my body better. And so I trust I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to have to just take a little bit of a wheel back a second like I did this weekend. But then Tuesday, we were at the lows, if you couldn't tell. This was the part where my chicken was killed, my knee doesn't work. You were there for most of this. Mm-hmm. But now it's the highs because I woke up and they had released the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500 list for the year. And Peter, do you know where I ranked my first 6 years professionally?
Where?
Not ranked. Not ranked at all. Not ranked once. And it makes sense the first few years. But by the time I was beating up the child from the Bailey videos in NXT and winning championships, I was like, oh, what? But then you realize the breadth of talent globally, the breadth of talent, across companies, the amount of companies that are being considered, the amount of wrestlers that are being considered. 500 is actually a very tiny number already to be considered of this craft. When you think about how much globally there is in wrestling, how much, ways with TV wrestling, non-TV wrestling. And the first year I placed on the PWI, it was, I believe, partially because of COVID, that I placed as high as I did because I debuted at 77 out of 500 the first time I was ever there, my 7th professional year. After that, it went 95 for 2 years in a row. Pretty incredible, still in the hundreds. And then I think I was like 121, 122. And then this year, with the insane run I've had, as I sit here and go like, I can't believe I'm a little injured after just wrestling hundreds of matches and going nutso and flying more miles than anyone. I mean, the little paragraph is never going to be, it's never going to be perfect on including everything you did. But it was kind of nice to see like, hey, he's done this GCW championship match in all these countries, in all these places. I was listed as number 42 out of 500. That's a crazy, crazy number for any wrestler, but for an independent wrestler. For a wrestler that's never signed a single contract. I would like to go down the list. Listen, there's a lot of currently independent wrestlers on the list. There's a lot of wrestlers on the list that are completely independent, and a lot that have become independent, moved around companies. A lot that were independent partially and are now back with companies. Here's the thing: the way they decide this is, as they say it, in kayfabe, right? This is determined by your win and loss record, which, as someone who won a championship and has not lost it this year after 34 defenses. Okay, pretty good. And then it's the breadth of your opponents that you faced. I've faced every type of opponent you can imagine. I have beaten them. And then it's also your standing within the companies and ranks and places, but it's also your impact on the business. And so, yes, I had really cool matches this year. Yes, I had really great moments with the championship. Yes, I got to wrestle all over the world. Yes, I think I'm very good at what professional wrestling is. We may disagree on what that definition is, but if everybody's having fun, I think it's good stuff. I think part of the reason I was so high is because of this podcast. And I think it's not that they're all focused and listening in on everything we're doing. They're not listening to full episodes. They're not signing up for the Patreon. They're briefly seeing clips of things chosen particularly to drum up a little interest and express like a small part of what's on this show. Nothing is edited to make it look like we're stacking something together. It's very much, sometimes I'm comfortable speaking with you. I'm a little more aware of the audience that we have now, just because every week people are like, oh, I listen to your podcast and it's awesome. But I do think I have the power, injured, not injured, healthy, competing, out on the road, off the road, to make changes to the business we have. And that is definitely something that factored into why I was as high on the list as I was. And I want to be clear, and I think I've kind of been clear on the episode so far. I am very, very opinionated about certain things. Some of them I hold more emotionally than others. And I also think my track record speaks for itself, where I may be a little bit of a thorn in the side of some people in the industry. And I know there's a few people, well, I guess they don't have paper anymore, so they're throwing their iPad at the wall, looking at the list, seeing that I am still being acknowledged and cannot be ignored and will not be gotten rid of and will not be controlled by anyone. Here we stand in a world where the 42nd ranked professional wrestler out of 500, out of thousands, is completely free and completely out there for anyone to hear what he wants to say, who has to, as I say, talk get kicked. You know what I mean? See, I'm doing it for, guys, the algorithm now, if you cuss, because we live under a puritanical fascist dictatorship, you can't get monetary funding for your content if you cuss. So I'm trying to beat around that. What I'm saying is professional wrestling is a very overarching thing. This is one, group's, one magazine's opinion, but it has been held in high esteem for a long time. I know I'm fascinated with, my kind of featuring in it in the amount of times that I have, that I feel like I can't, whether, I'm with anyone or not, can't really be erased from existing in the history of wrestling, which I think is important. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here. And I just like to look at the whole 360 of it, because yes, I have been on a championship run and won matches and had victory after victory over very formidable opponents, but also the people of wrestling are going outside the 15 minutes a month they may see me if they come see me live, or the few hours they're doing on streaming, to really lock into like, hey, yes, Effy is going to speak for quite a long time here about everything, and that's really cool to see how that's, I think, leaked a little bit into how these things work. You know who was number one?
Who?
Cody Rhodes.
Ooh.
You know who was
I've
number
heard of
one
him.
last year?
Who?
Cody Rhodes.
Oh.
And you know what that means? It's time for this year's edition of Start a Little S with Effy. Cody Rhodes, I'm coming for the number one spot. I don't care that you're working for whatever company you're working for. I don't care if you've left any companies. Out here, you know what we are. I have your dad tattooed on my foot. His face looks up at me after every match when I'm changing out of my boots, bleeding from the cover of that PWI where he was bloody with his eye squinting. And one day we will face in the ring. One day I will text you back and you will text me back, and it won't be about other people or good things we're doing for the community or great things that are happening. I really appreciate you donating that ring-worn vest for your entrance vest for Jeff Cannonball, which went for over $9,000.
Wow.
I think you're an incredible human, but when it comes down to the importance in wrestling, I want nothing more than to take that spot from you, to take that spot from everyone else on the list, and I will continue doing things my way until our paths cross in a way that is meaningful, and I don't want to do it on your turf, so hopefully you're allowed to do it on mine, because I don't have to ask permission. That's just fun. That's jest. This is like fun little jest. I've learned my lessons. Reflect on the year. Sometimes you say things on here and they go out and it can cause a whole lot of crumbling of cookies. But yeah, shout out Ricky Saints. He's doing incredibly well in NXT. They just had a huge show the other night. NXT versus TNA. Pretty crazy to see the companies going at it. I'm excited for how much excitement there is about the amount of wrestling there is in wrestling. Because as you know, if you've ever listened to the show, if it's good for wrestling, it's good for Effy. If it's going to get people to watch wrestling, participate in wrestling, be around wrestling, then it's good for Effy. Trust that. Even if I don't like it as Effy or as Taylor, as anyone, if it's good for wrestling. Like Jelly Roll, people are like always trying to get me to diss Jelly Roll. They're like, don't you think Jelly Roll, like he's one of the fake celebrities to come in here? I go, who cares? Who cares at all? If Jelly Roll can get 100, 200, 1,000, 100,000, a million more people to tune into pro wrestling, the same people that see Effy are going to see the rest of the card. The same people that see Jelly Roll doing a choke slam are going to see your Chad Gables and your Seth Rollins and your Cody Rhodes and your Bianca Belairs and your Io Skies. Like they're going to see all of these people outside of just Jelly Roll. So is Jelly Roll the best wrestler? If he got people to buy tickets, he's a better wrestler than you. I'll tell you that. Because a lot of the people that I've seen complaining about the list, Jelly Roll wasn't on the list, by the way. He didn't have enough. Shout out Justin Wang on Twitter because he put a fake graphic out that Jelly Roll was number 38 and people were freaking out. But it's like you have to have at least 10 matches, which I do qualify for that. If you're worried you're not on the list, don't worry. If you're booked and wrestling, that's a level and measure of success that you have to find some kind of happiness in because not everybody is. You remember Dennis Stamp?
Nope.
All right, well, he wasn't booked. That's why you don't remember him. He's not booked, not for one dang thing. We're going to have to watch that one day. I think that's Beyond the Mat. Is that the Beyond the Mat? Or is that there's a different one. It's one of the two weird wrestling. It doesn't matter. We'll get to it. We'll get your opinion. He's on the trampoline training because he never knows when he's going to get the call. If you wanted me there, you would have booked me.
Is this like a Windy City Heat kind of thing?
No, this is a real documentary of behind the scenes of the wrestling scene in the 90s that like kind of shows everything going on. Pretty crazy. Good times. Okay, I wrote another thing on my list. That was the PWI 500. Congratulations to me.
Congratulations.
We're going to keep doing it. I'm trying to remember what this blood was about. Why was I thinking about blood so much? Okay, here's the last one. And I asked you this earlier, and I'm gaslighting myself. There's no way I haven't told the story about when I saw Gucci Mane in concert on the podcast before, right?
Let's start and I'll tell you.
Okay. So this is pre-2010, guaranteed. I want to even say maybe 2008 or 2009. Gucci Mane was playing in South Carolina, in Greenville. And my friend, who's now married to my other friend, and I don't see them much anymore, they're married, they have kids. I think I've made out with both of them, both sides of the equation. we were like, we're definitely going to go see Gucci Mane. And the best is all the posters around town that were advertising it and all the radio plugs did my favorite thing, which is what wrestling should do. We always try to be like mysterious and act like everybody knows what's going on. They said Gucci Mane live in concert, gave the venue, and said he will play the hit song Lemonade. Okay? If you can guarantee to me like, well, is he gonna? And you're thinking, oh, they always play that song. It's like when I saw Third Eye Blind on my birthday and those drunk girls kept yelling, play Jumper, play Jumper. And I was trying to hear the other songs. And I was like, you think they're not going to play Jumper? Turns out the American audience, we found out as a group, not as bright as you'd think. It was nice to see it advertised as just like, yeah, guys, he's playing the song you like. And I was like, sick. So we go to this venue and there's a lot of opening acts. And Gucci doesn't go on until well after 1:30 a.m. We're out. And at this point in my life, I was drinking a lot of Four Loko.
Okay. Do you remember who any of the opening acts were?
No, we can look up the concert, but like, it's, who knows? I'm pretty drunk and we're dancing. We're excited. Gucci hits the stage. Gucci gets about 5 songs into his set and smoke is like appearing on the ground. And someone has set off like a pepper spray canister, like one of the ground ones. And Gucci is like, a guy runs out and puts a towel over Gucci and like gets him the hell out of there. They rush us out of the venue. We get to the car. We're like shook up. It's like 2 a.m. We're like, what the heck? And we pull out of the parking lot and we're like, oh my gosh. And they have a police check set up. So I'm pretty sure they sent in a plainclothes officer, dropped a pepper spray bomb because everybody's drunk at Gucci Mane, and then forced everyone to leave and go through the DUI checkpoint, right? So they pull me and they're like, we're going to do a field sobriety test. Now, as an older gentleman now, like as someone with wisdom, I don't trust my acting skills, but there's something about being like 19 or 20 where you're like, I'm great. And I'd say 19 or 20, maybe it was 21. Maybe I wasn't underage. It doesn't matter because the story works out. And I learned my lesson. So I have to do a field sobriety test and ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIFGFEDCBA JIFGIFG. See, this is why I can't do it anymore. We're close. I didn't have to do that one, but I did memorize that one time driving home from a Thrice concert because I couldn't make the stereo work in my car. So we get to the checkpoint. I pass the checkpoint. He keeps looking in the car, and there's a Four Loko can that we have missed in the passenger's seat. Well, God bless her, and I'm not going to name her. She takes credit for it. It's mine. Well, I'm going to have to write you an open container ticket. It's okay. Y'all be careful. We got out of there. And was it white privilege? 100%. 2, she goes to court, says, I bet if I have my titties out fat and I'm really apologetic, they won't do anything. They let her off, tell her to be a nice girl, and we all get away clean. I'm sorry you were used as a patsy, Gucci Mane. Okay? I asked my friend, it's Harmony Korine. And I want to say he was so good in the Harmony Korine film Spring Breakers. Harmony Korine spelled Karen, right? Mm-hmm. Is that how you would say it?
Yeah. How do you say
Kaganada, right?
Yeah.
Kaganada.
Okay. I do have to ask.
Yeah.
Did he play Lemonade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he got to Lemonade. It was like track 3.
Okay.
He came in with some, and it was like, I don't think Gucci was going to be playing an extraordinary long set at 1:30 in the morning. I think Gucci was getting up to do like half an hour of songs. And honestly, what more do you need? I don't need Gucci to do an hour.
No.
I need to be lit at 1:30, and he comes out, he hits all the classics, boom, we're out of there. Okay, but I don't need the police to force us out of there. And I need them to leave us alone. And this is like pre-Uber-ish. So, it's like you're not even giving, they knew what they were doing. So, I don't know. What do you say? Is that too far? Is that too deep? You might have to cut that line. You may have to cut that line just for monetary. I don't know. We are living in the surveillance state now, right? It's a spiffy line though, right?
It's a spiffy line.
All right. Well, you're never going to be able to hear it because of the censorship today. Every time I say the name Jimmy Kimmel after this, you're going to have to beep it. Jimmy Kimmel. Right? Is that crazy? So I did actually still go to a wrestling show this weekend. You know that?
That's right.
And I got to be honest, there was a lot of discussion this week about deathmatch wrestling because the clip of the Philippou brothers, Raka Raka, I believe it's Michael, because I think Danny was at his wedding when they were filming in Japan and Michael was there. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys. They went down to Mexico with Ciclope, with Rina Yamashita, with Jimmy Lloyd, with all of these deathmatch elites and put on a crazy fire barbed wire scaffold deathmatch to be kind of the penultimate part of their documentary they're working on. And certain wrestlers were not very happy with, oh, deathmatch is fake. This is just live stunt work, which granted, all wrestling is live stunt work. Stunts are a part of a story. We're just doing both parts, and that's pissing you off that we're not having a separate union wage. Y'all, have you been on TikTok? There's not going to be unions in the future. We're done. Like, what are we doing? So you have to do it all yourself is what I'm learning. They learned that. They're doing it all themselves. This show that I went to is here in Atlanta, Georgia, which gets me so fired up. Because there are rarely shows. There's shows around Atlanta. There are shows near Atlanta. I'm going to be wrestling in Alpharetta, not very far, like right up on the cusp. I consider that pretty much Atlanta. This is in the Virginia Highlands, Inman Park kind of area. This is at a meadery, Monk's Meadery, and it is in the back parking lot, and everyone is having the most fun I've ever seen people have. And this is a promotion that a few guys are running together, but namely Nathan Mowry was bringing me in. And I was originally supposed to defend the GCW championship there against Spectre had I continued to have the championship. And I said, listen, forget the pay stuff, forget this. I'm not wrestling. I can't wrestle. I'm on the poster. I'll be there. Let me do commentary. And he still took care of me and he didn't have to. Let me do commentary. I'm looking out there and I'm like, in no way becoming in any way socially conservative, but fiscally, I'm a little more like my dad than I'd like to be. And I'm just looking and I'm going, Nathan asked me after, do you have any suggestions? I said, you're giving them so much. Every match had props and weapons and moments and stories. Every match went all the way. Every match went all the way out. It's only their sixth event. I was over there doing commentary on quite a few matches. Spectre still tried to cause some problems, and Zicky Dice and Spectre ended up having a fight. So it worked out for the fans anyway. I was still there. Still got to meet. Still got to greet. This main event was Mr. Danger and Nathan Mowry. And the rest of the card was already so... This is also... I've done enough deathmatch to where I know how risky it can be. I know how dangerous it is. I know that in one moment, and I'm kind of always just like, pick your moments, and these kids are ready. They want to have their moments, but I want them to do it safely. It's invigorating. It's exhilarating. It's also nerve-wracking to watch you be under adrenaline doing those things from a distance. And I kept having to move out of the way. Glass was flying at me. And this mead bar is like not... I would not pick it as a wrestling venue. And that's why this is so sick to me and why I hope more businesses will go, maybe this isn't crazy. I called a venue recently in Atlanta, not this meat bar. And I said, kind of, here's what we would be doing. And they said, how many days load in and out would you need? I said, we would do it all in a day. And they said, clean up and everything? I said, yeah. If we knew how to present wrestling correctly, more businesses would get on board. However they presented this to Monk's Meadery, they are a genius level PR person because they sold so much mead. And I think that's really what does it is like wrestling fans want to show up and participate. They want to buy the drinks. They're going to be there all night. They want to buy pretzels and they have the beer crot dogs and they have like, it's a cool place. But if I told you like, we're going to be breaking glass in your parking lot and bleeding on purpose, most businesses will be like, I don't think it's the puppet business. And then they're like, we'll sweep it all up and have it out of here an hour after we're done. And they're like, I don't know if that's true. No, they sold out. This business has to be looking at them going, this is absurd, but it's working. Like people were paying for tickets and then watching up from the parking lot to be back a little bit, but they're filling the hill like the gladiators. And we're just in the back of that meadery between the wash place, the Get Cool gas station with the good drinks, and the meadery coffee shop. And it was just like, I was flabbergasted this thing existed. It was so awesome. Like I had nothing negative to say besides like, y'all be careful now. And also, how much did you spend on weaponry? Just a marvelous amount of weaponry and hard work and stuff that goes into it. And you ready for this, Peter? Oh, this is crazy. You're going to like 2 on-site medics. Are you kidding me? Legally, sometimes you have to have a doctor or a medic there legally, but like, it's not my business. I'm hoping I don't get hurt. Call me an Uber X to get to the hospital. That's my vibe. No, they were there just like checking everybody out, making sure everything was good, handling business. Just like DIY is the future. You can make anything as glittery and shiny and lit up and LED and HD as you want. But when people actually come together and do stuff and put themselves into it and make it happen and see it in their own community, that's the stuff that actually sticks. That's the stuff that isn't fly by night. And I just want to commend them because it was an excellent show. I don't exactly know where it's going to be up for streaming. I'm hoping they'll tell me because I'd like to watch some of the clips on my Twitch when we do the wrestling nights. But I want to hear my commentary because I got to say it, Peter. This injury thing, it sucks. But I have been getting to flex my comment. And a lot of people I forget are hearing me do wrestling commentary for the first time because they don't watch me on Twitch. And people are like, how'd you get so good at commentary? And I'm like, I've literally been doing almost every week 3 hours of wrestling commentary by myself live on a stream. And look, it's low pressure because I can talk how I want. But now to get to go out into the world and go, if I tighten this up 15%, I'm incredible. And to get those compliments is wonderful. What we're looking at now, Peter, is this, okay? I love professional wrestling with my whole heart. I see what professional wrestling has given me. I see how much more it's given me than some people. I see how hard it makes you work sometimes, but I also see how many times I've been lucky or blessed. But in order to make professional wrestling my B, not in a gendered sense, but in the sense of ownership of that dog, I want to make sure my wings are spread and I have room to go no to professional wrestling when I need to, and to go yes to the things and not worry about the inherent risks and have that sort of financial pillow that you land on where the wrestling is benefiting it, but isn't something that if my knee hurts, I'm having to put things together. I'm having to figure things out. And so to see the reward of being able to do things like commentary, like this weekend, going to England for Big Gay Brunch and running a show. And I'm advertised for a tag match, Peter. And I'm, spoiler alert, thank God I have a partner. But I can assure you, the vibe in that building for Big Gay Brunch in the UK the third time with this huge weekend they're doing where there's a women's show, a hardcore show, a TNT show, a gay show. Like there's so much wrestling happening this weekend channeled together, and it's magic that if I just went there and couldn't compete, if something happened, and I'm going to give it my all, I could still do the commentary. I could still host a show. I can still be a general manager and commissioner and do it well, to do it not where it's just a point of a charity contribution because this person cannot contribute in this other way, but in a way that is adding to the show and benefiting the performers and benefiting the show itself by putting someone with knowledge on there. I can remember when we did the Fight Forever one, that moment where I'm looking up at commentary on one of the morning shows, and God help them, they were doing their best, but they didn't know anybody on this particular card, and they had not sent enough people for their card to have commentators. And I just remember buffing it up the stairs and going, move, and getting in there and just taking over because I knew these wrestlers and I knew these people. And so I hope, I'm going to keep wrestling as long as I can. I want to wrestle until I'm 85 years old. And I Bullet Bob Armstrong wrestled, I think, until he was 90. He died at 94. It was definitely tag matches and stuff. But I used to see him at all the Continental reunions, and he would dance with me. He'd go wild. And he was having more fun then than I think he'd ever had because he was booked and he was busy and he was doing stuff, but he had no expectation on things having to be perfect or things having to be at this level. It was just he was better as an entertainer because he could just enjoy himself. Mm-hmm. And so as I find myself enjoying myself more and having these options and having these little bits of pillow and leverage, it makes it so much easier to just sort of I think your first run is your best run most of the time. And I think your first run can be impeded if you're worried about your first run. And so when you're running everything first time, but you don't have those worries of other things, I better be so careful I don't hurt myself or I'll be poor, just being one of them. It's not having to have that thought of, if I do get hurt, man, I'll take some time off and I'll do some other things and I'll make it happen. Having that, you probably won't get hurt because you're going in there without this additional leverage and pressure over yourself. So yeah, it's not fun being injured, but I'm going to tell you, it's, I've been keeping a lot more notes because I'm thinking things and getting them done. And now this weekend, I'm going to go to England and have the time of my life. I think I'm going to be in England for all of a day and a half total. I'll leave here at 6 p.m. tomorrow. On Thursday, I will land Friday morning in London. I will go to Liverpool. I will do the show Saturday. I will be back at London Heathrow Sunday morning to fly home. Incredible. At least I get one night to sleep. You know what I mean? And afterwards, we'll probably go do some karaoke or something fun because what are you going to do? You're going to sleep and then drive 4 hours? Like, oh, let me go nap an hour after I just hosted my show. After I just broke international boundaries and made all the people scream and yell and say, what a cool thing. Well, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it because it's cool and it's cool for me. So if people are like me, it's going to be cool for them. How's that, Peter?
I love it.
You got anything to add?
No. I like this, though. It sounds like we're
Libra. What's up with the Libra? We're going to talk about that on the astrology.
We're going to talk about it.
Make sure to go follow weekendateffys.substack.com. Now, Peter, does that email out to people every month?
Yes, it does.
That's awesome. You can just get on the email list, open it or don't, but I'm going to tell you something. Open that message. You don't have to have a Substack app. You can just get it to your email. It's less than a 5-minute read, right?
Mm-hmm.
5.5 if you're slower at reading like me. I had a lot of Tylenol growing up. If you want to follow us further, weekendateffys.com. That's the Patreon. Pick your level, pick your benefits. I promise you, if we spent 20% less time giving y'all on the Patreon all these benefits and just spent that time micro aggregating AI algorithms to force our content into your brain, you just rolled your eyes at that. But financially, it would be more lucrative. But here's the facts. The Patreon is giving you everything. If you want to participate at that level, you are going to enjoy yourself. You will find something you want. You don't have to do it all the time. All right. I know that you just let that freaking Hulu run out of your account every month. I know you forgot that you even subscribed to Triller or Fight TV. I know you probably have some other subscription to some, what do you got? You got an astrology subscription so they can send you a message every morning? Okay, shut up and just put the charge on the card, weekendateffys.com. And if you use the content, great. And if you don't, just come fist bump me at a show. We'll take a picture. Tell me you're on the Patreon. And that might be worth it enough for you. I don't care what gets you in there. But you should support the arts. Because I am the arts. Effy is the arts. All right? There once was a man who was very, very, very good at being a man. He did all the things a man did. And at that point, he was tired of being a man. And so then he wanted to be a cricket. And so he became a cricket.